finding clients who are willing to pay you what you're worth, listen to this. I know that's if you are having a hard time finding clients who are willing to pay you what you're worth, listen to this. I know that social media can be a little tricky because there's so many people who have this misconception that it's a really easy job, that it's an intern level job, or that they can just do it themselves. And if you're a social media manager, then you know that that's the furthest thing from the truth. Sometimes you get a client who says that they're interested in social media management, and then you send them your prices, and then they're like, basically like, oh, just kidding, you know, my money is better spent elsewhere because I can just do the social media for our brand or myself. And if that is the response, then run for the hills. They're giving you an easy out. That is the type of client that you want to avoid. The way to find clients who are willing to pay you what you're worth is to relentlessly reach out to clients that you want to work with and come prepared. What I mean by that is if someone responds to your cold email or cold DM, come prepared and send them your price kit or your portfolio or both, and be totally upfront with everything. If they come back to you and ask you to lower your prices, just set the boundary and say, for the level of work that you do and the quality of work that you do, this is the price. I promise you, even if they go and hire someone else for a lower amount, I can almost guarantee that they're going to come back to you eventually and realize that they made a mistake. The type of client that you want, and the only type of client that you want, is the type of client who understands the value of social media and is willing to pay. The way you get that client is constantly doing your research and reaching out to the right people. What I mean by this is that if you're reaching out to mom and pop businesses and small businesses and brands, that's amazing and that's great, but you can't expect corporate budgets from that. I recommend starting by writing a list of all of the people, businesses, and brands that you see on social media that you think that you can bring value to. Maybe it's an influencer who's constantly doing brand deals and that you see is consistently busy. That is someone who is bringing money in constantly and who's so busy, and that you could say that you could help automate that process or that you could help bring in even more business. And that's someone who understands the value of social media. This is one of many examples that I can give, but all you really need to do is realize that your outreach needs to consist of people and brands and businesses that understand the value of social media and the level of work that goes into social media. And then you will start to get paid appropriately. If you are brand new to TikTok and you want to grow and you don't want to get a social media manager, here is exactly what I would do. Number one, I would establish a posting cadence. So figure out what you're able to do consistently. Maybe it's posting once a day. Maybe it's ideally posting 3 to 4 times a day. If you're in the beginning stages, I would take advantage of that. Start posting different kind of content. Don't box yourself in. Just post different kinds of content that you're passionate about and see what lands with your audience and see what lands with TikTok and the algorithm in general. You want to stay really close to your analytics within the first couple of months of just starting out on TikTok, because that will help guide you and will help inform what actual content you're going to be posting. The thing that is so important is to consistently engage. Respond to comments, respond to DMs, go and like other people's content. Be consistently active because your TikTok algorithm actually recognizes that. I recommend using everything TikTok has to offer. So recording all of your content within the app, editing within the app or using CapCut, using TikTok native fonts, using the trending sounds on TikTok, using TikTok live, using the stories. You see where I'm going with this. Anything that TikTok has created, they want you to use, so they will boost you in the back end if you use them consistently. A lot of people try to make it complicated. It's really not, and I like to simplify everything. Plus, I'm a big fan of launching fast and adjusting as you need. This might single-handedly be the best update Instagram has done in years. I don't know who at Instagram blessed us with this, but look. And you might be thinking, Julia, what does this mean? Why do I care? This means you can now post on Instagram and have the option to have that post either show up in your followers feed or not. Now I know, because I've done videos on it, that a lot of you feel cringe when posting on Instagram, and so do I. I also know, because I'm a social media manager, that I want my feed to look nice, or at least decently curated. I know a lot of you do too. We can now use this feature to our benefit. We can post anything that we want, and if we feel even the slightest bit cringe posting it, just have it not show up in your followers feed. You can literally click that toggle and the magic happens. You now have no excuse not to post on Instagram, so you better go use that to your advantage. You're welcome. And if you're someone who's going to be using this feature, let me know in the comments, because so am I. Let's talk social media cadence. If you're out there and you're trying to establish yourself, there needs to be a cadence of posting. What I mean by that is every day, You should have some sort of idea of what you'll be doing. This is really gonna help pinpoint the way that you operate on a day-to-day basis. So the rule of thumb in terms of social media cadence is that you should be posting once a day on Instagram, 5 to 8 times on Instagram stories, 1 to 4 times on TikTok. That's like the rule of thumb if you want to grow. There are things that you can do outside of that that can really, really help. For example, if you're only going to post 1 time on TikTok, can you also work in TikTok live? Or can you also work in TikTok stories? Because anything that you're using with the algorithm can really, really help you boost yourself on TikTok. And TikTok's the #1 converter to Instagram. So you want to make sure your cadence is right there. Anything extra is amazing. So if you can be posting as well on YouTube Shorts, on Pinterest. Pinterest is amazing for that. Facebook, Twitter, you're able to spend time on those apps. Amazing. If not, it's not going to completely hinder you. It's just that you always want your visibility to be as strong as possible, especially if you're just starting out or especially if you're trying to grow. I get this question all the time, so I'm just gonna go straight into it. I've been working with influencers and celebrities for over 6 years, and my very first job was with an influencer who I cold emailed. That was a very different time in the social media world, but I stand by how I did it, which was basically by telling her all of the value that I could bring her and her business. From there, I basically niched myself into the influencer and celebrity space just because of the skill set that I had learned. I learned very fast on how to do things like brand deals or work with agencies. I understood how to strategically post affiliate links like to know it and shop style and reward style and Amazon, which meant that I knew how to make influencers passive income. I was also always paying attention to trends. I was always researching new trends and new styles and new aesthetics. Basically, all of the skills that I learned from working with an influencer in my very first job gave me the skill set that I needed to work with other influencers and other celebrities. My first boss was amazing, and she introduced me to a ton of people. So when she moved to New York, I actually had a job opportunity immediately, which I know is incredibly lucky. However, the takeaway is that one person that you work with could introduce you to the next client or even the next 10 clients. So if you're watching this being like, how does this apply to me? Here's how. Find someone that you want to work with and do an incredible job for them. Like, go above and beyond. Always go the extra mile. Do not be afraid to put yourself out there professionally. What I mean by that is I was full-time with my first influencer, and I turned down every job opportunity that came my way because it was my full-time job. But that didn't mean that I didn't network. If I was at an event or even if we were just out taking content, I would always put myself out there. I'd be shamelessly taking photos and videos of her, and it would just cause people to be like, oh my god, I need you in my life. And I'd be like, sure, I'm Julia. I'm a social media manager. Let me give you my information. And boom, more clients. My other piece of advice for you is to always look for the influencer or celebrity who is taking off. Make sure you're paying attention and make sure that the people that you're reaching out to have brand deals coming in or going to events. Maybe they're going viral a ton. Then you can strategically reach out to them and tell them how much value you can bring to them. I go into so much detail on this in my social media course, but that is the major takeaway. So nurturing the clients that you do have because they could refer you to more clients, putting yourself out there, and always introducing yourself as a social media manager, and strategically going after people who you see are succeeding. Give away all my secrets in my social media course, but those are the secrets I'll give away here. You are making posting on social media so much harder than it needs to be. I'm sorry, but you are. So I am just going to simplify it for you so that everything clicks. I hear way too many people talking about the best time of day to post or how many hashtags you need to use. And honestly, none of that matters. We are not going to worry about those things. Those things are not going to be the things that hold us back. We're not going to wait until the best time to post. You're not going to sit there for hours on end finding the best hashtags. And we're also not going to just post to post just to meet some made up content quota. Throw all of those things away, and here are the things that actually matter. Number 1, posting consistently does matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to block out time once per week to film all of your content. Don't overthink every piece of content. So you're just gonna grab your phone and talk about things that you're knowledgeable about or passionate in. Your goal should be to educate, entertain, or inspire. And you're in luck because you don't even need to worry about how long the content is. You can do long form content, short form content, doesn't matter. Both content forms are doing great right now. Number 2, you are going to edit all of your videos and edit the dead space out. Editing matters because you want to get all of the dead space out. And what I mean by that is the likes, the ums, the breaths. Make sure you get any pauses out because you want to make sure that your content is as enjoyable as possible to watch. You don't want people scrolling midway through your video. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to then establish strong SEO on every one of those videos that you just created. So on every one of those videos that you just filmed for the week, you want to make sure that you're using keywords, you're using auto-generated closed captions, you're using keywords in your caption, and then use 1 to 3 hashtags in your captions just to make sure that there is no excuse for the algorithm not to recognize your video and push it out in the back end. Okay, now we have our videos banked, we have them edited, and we also have them all set up with strong SEO strategy. The 4th thing that you're going to want to do is establish a posting cadence, and I'm going to pop up the one that I recommend. Note that I recommend taking Friday as a break just because it is literally the worst for engagement. Once you've established your posting cadence and you know when your posts are going to be scheduled out, then we can move on to posting. So this is the 5th thing. So you've done all of that work and now you've posted. What you're not going to do is post and then leave the app. If you do this, you are missing out on the most crucial time frame of your entire video. So the first 15 to 30 minutes of posting your video, you should be on the app, engaging, being active. This is the most important time frame to be active. So make sure you're not leaving the app, make sure you're engaging because you will have the best chances of going viral if you sit there and engage. Last thing you're gonna do is cross-platform promote. So grab the link from your TikTok video, post it on your story so that you can get all of those eyeballs over to TikTok and establish that demographic over there. This is my 6-step breakdown so that you can simplify your social media posting and not have to worry about the little things that ultimately just don't matter. So no more overcomplicating it for yourself, and if you have any questions at all, I will help you below.
But I'm in the trees, I'm in the breeze, my footsteps on the ground. You see my face.